Welcome to the PAX Hospitality Podcast. I'm your host, Leon Kennedy, and I'm here with Michael today. Michael, what's up?
G'day.
And, oh man, rookie error.
How do you say it?
I
Rob's
totally
last
forgot to
name.
ask you how to pronounce your last name.
Libecans.
Libecans, yeah.
Libecans.
Phonetic.
Okay, awesome. So we're
Don't
here
worry,
with...
he's known me for 10 years and still can't say Bichetta. So.
Like the bread.
Exactly. It's not that hard.
Do you know what stuffs me up is Siri? Because every time I say, like, Siri announces your name, it says Michael Bassetta.
Okay.
So it's stuck in my head.
That's it.
What do you want me to
Siri's
do?
fault. Yeah, thanks.
And now I've totally forgotten what you said. How do you pronounce your last name?
Libecans.
Libecans. Awesome. Where's that from?
Latvia.
Latvia. Okay, awesome. So if you haven't gathered already, we're here with the amazing Rob Libecans. Thank you, mate, for being here. It's great to have you on the show.
Thanks. Fan already.
And already, we're only one episode in, or two, that's been released.
Hey, I think what I'd love to do is just ask you some random questions because I don't know you. We've never really met each other, so it's kind of a bit weird jumping on a podcast and meeting someone for the first time. So do you mind if we just do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, what's your favourite movie? To start live music.
Yeah, I think the thing I've watched the most in my life is Pulp Fiction.
Okay, that's a good answer. I kind of feel like I get really stuck with that, and there's like the answers that I want to give are usually they don't land. Like one of my favorite movies ever is I Heart Huckabees. You ever heard of that or seen it?
Yeah.
Like every time I recommend that to someone, they're like, "Okay, I'll go check it out," and then they're like, "What the fuck was that movie?"
I want to say something cooler, but I know when I'm hungover and I just want to lie on the couch, I want comfort.
Yeah.
And then I guess like let me ask you just one more. Like, what were you listening to on the way in today?
I was listening to some music that I was playing actually last night, Nachtbreaker from Germany, doing a remix of Backstabbers.
There you
It's
go,
great.
lovely. I like the sound of that.
I'll have to check that out because I have no idea.
Hang on, was it a recorded mix of you DJing? Or
No,
was it just that
absolutely
track?
not.
Okay,
Do you
yeah,
do
yeah.
that?
Maybe.
Feels
I used to.
Be like listening back to your own podcast.
Yeah, now it's just my
We're learning
inbox.
more about Varney.
Himself. Mate, awesome. I think like ice broken. Let's just jump, straight into the concept behind this podcast and what we wanted to do. So I just need to talk for a minute about what we're doing to set this up. So butt in if you guys want to.
Yep.
But it's actually probably a really good opportunity to do some like PAX onboarding with Rob, right? Because effectively, so I'll give you the backstory, right? So this whole podcast and the first season, there's a bit of a journey running through it. So we did the first episode around this model that we use at PAX, which is pretty much like a diagnostic that you can use for pretty much any business to try to do a little bit of a health check and try to understand, okay, where are we losing a little bit of traction in our effort to reward ratio, if that kind of makes sense. And what that model is, we call it the pyramid model because we couldn't think of anything better. But,
We'll work on it.
Yeah. It's basically 4 words, right? It is identity, product, consistency, and promo. And it's a pyramid because it has to be dealt with in that order, where identity is like the foundation for everything that you do in a business. And if that's not really clear, then it's hard to know if you're executing the right product, right? And if you don't have clarity on that, you don't have those parameters, then consistency becomes hard to measure and attain. And then it's only really once you've got a reasonably good degree of sophistication in those 3 areas that you should then put money into promo.
Yep.
And what often happens is people do it the wrong way around. They sort of invest in promo when they don't have a clear identity. They haven't nailed their product execution. They haven't nailed their consistency. And so you just ask yourself, what are you actually promoting, right? You're promoting an inconsistent or confusing experience, right? Which is never going to hit the ROI you want to see in repeat trade and brand equity. So that's kind of the one. So we did a whole episode on that. And then what we said we'll do is we'll do episodes within those stacks, right? So we'll do specific ones about identity, about product, or about consistency and promo, because the other thing for us at PAX is like in between each of those stages, if you can identify that, okay, hey, this business in particular has an identity problem or it's got a consistency problem, there's a toolkit for that. It's like, great, we can go in and go, hey, well, that's how you fix, those issues. So what we've been doing is we've been doing, we did the model, then we've been doing these specific episodes with, the toolkits attached to them. And we're up to product. I literally have no idea where we're going because chronologically we've been doing it all over.
Yeah,
the
we've been
show.
bouncing, in terms of recording, we've been bouncing around, but then we'll release them in the right way.
Yeah, release them in the right way. So
Yeah.
so this is effectively what we wanted to do with this one, and why we wanted to have you on is because we want to do one on product. Okay, and it's kind of interesting because product, there is a few dimensions to it, which makes it a little bit confusing. But when we talk about product on the pyramid, right, we're talking about the physical product, right, that exists in a business, right? And in hospitality, that's always just going to be your food, drinks, and service, right? And those are obviously overarching. Service goes into experience, right? Let's just say. And when we also talk about the toolkit, right, and the things that we use to sort of diagnose and solve problems in businesses, we also talk about product as a concept refinement piece. Okay, which is slightly different. Like it's not the physical products that exist in your business, it's the actual ethos and the way in which you manage all those variables. And today there's going to be lots of crossover, right? Because, man, you guys fucking crush it on all of those fronts. So it's an opportunity for us to kind of like, you know, have Michael, you know, really lead the conversation and talk a lot about like his ethos around product management, but also to do it kind of toe to toe with someone else who's, you know, known in the industry to do it so credibly well. When we did the identity one, we did a similar thing. You know, when we talked about identity, it's hard to say, hey, let's just, you know, get a whiteboard out and talk about the steps. Like when we're talking about consistency, you can get really stuck into that because consistency really comes down to administration. Or administrative functions. So like, you know, your financial reporting, you know, your HR architecture, and that's really like linear, you know, like you can sit there and go, hey, well, there's the 5 fucking reports you need in your business.
Pretty black and white.
Yeah, but with identity, it's really hard because it's like there's no framework that exists. Like I've been researching it for nearly 7 years now, and it's just like no one's done it in anything outside of anecdotal, right? Like you got like Sinek and a lot of those guys that are like on the circuit and they got their things, but no one's done like an empirical study of like this is how you determine identity, right? Apart from Viktor Frankl, and he's, you know, with like logotherapy and whatnot, but that's like a whole other can of worms. And I think if we tried to do a podcast,
Settle down, Leon.
Yeah, we'd be out. So yeah, what we did with that one was we actually had Joseph Aboud from Rumi come on, and we talked about, hey, you know, we've just worked together and trying to help, you know, Joseph articulate his identity. And we were like, well, let's just do it that way. Let's give people an overview as to like how you can sort of move the needle on those sorts of things. So I guess, yeah, we kind of want to do a version of that with product. And here we are. How do you feel about all of that?
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's good. I think what we do is unique to us because of how personal it is. We are very conscious that we don't take too much feedback, and we don't look outside too much. I think there's one thing is that, like, you know, you can see feedback, we don't need to hear it. And these are just things that we have learnt very quickly over like the last, Caretaker is nearly 4 years old now. And I think we just opened up our second venue, and we have a much better understanding of who we are, how we operate between the 3 business owners. So I suppose, like, okay, we've just opened up a new venue, but we've been behaving like we're going to open a venue for 18 months.
Yeah, well.
And I think that is a key sign of how we operate. You know, we only had the lease 6 months ago. Yeah. So that's a year behaving like we've got a second venue. So it's not.
When you say like behaving, that's what you're? Unless I'm mishearing it, are you talking about like that is what really helps with like a smooth transition? Is just being
totally. It's just you know, we've spent 18 months training, promoting, empowering, giving people breathing room, letting go of important things of our role.
How important is that?
It's hard because the 3 of us are control freaks.
Yeah.
You know, that has been a big change for me. But it's also like we have some pretty ridiculous staff, particularly in the creative department, which I look after. We've got Darren Laney, who's worked at Dandelion when it was the world's best bar, Dinner by Heston, ran the drinks program there, Kitty Gardner, Lee Kopp, Ruby in Denmark, Bramble, which is probably arguably Scotland's most famous bar,
Wow.
to not give them the room to succeed or fail would be a waste of them being there.
Yeah.
We're very lucky to have them, and to retain them, we have to give them space.
Well, it's funny, even the flip side, like as founders, you don't have an excuse to not do it when you've got that much talent, right? Like sometimes when I'm sitting down with other founders, and look, founders letting go of the reins is the hardest thing in the world, right? It is just categorically across any business, no one has been able to nail that struggle. So I'm not surprised that, you guys are no different, but often when I'm talking to founders that won't let go of the reins, there's a little bit of justification because they're just like, well, I don't have a manager.
Yeah.
Almost.
Or they're not good enough or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They've only been working in hospitality for 4 months. And it's like,
Yeah,
it's kind of valid. You kind of got like some absolute weapons in the arsenal. So you kind of like got to give them the space, right?
Totally, but the new staff coming on for a new venue deserve everything that everyone else got in the first venue.
Yeah, got it.
So rather than splitting yourself 50-50, you have to go, all right, you have room to fail. We are there to assess or assist or just be kind of like a last point of contact before you make a decision. Fine, but we're not going to do it for you. But we have to be there in the trenches with the new staff to kind of be there for them, but also get to know our business.
Yeah.
Like that's the most exciting bit, because once, Caretakers is set in stone physically and metaphorically. But we really like problem solving.
Yeah.
And the best problems and the kind of like the acute things are when you just open.
Got it. That's a stage on the journey that is like you in your element?
Yeah, totally. I mean, we really like pressure.
Yeah.
In my personal life, I'm terrible with pressure. When it comes to working with my two business partners and being in business, like short deadlines creates magic for us. We really, really like it when we are on the clock. I think it's when we thrive. So when we set ourselves a hard deadline for open for 3 Horses, like 30 hours before we opened, it was a physical building site.
Yeah, wow.
And that's exciting. But it's also in the 12, 13 hours before we opened, we had our sound system installed, 4 meter by 1 meter painting hung on the back bar. We'd adjusted all the lighting, and it's those moments where you fall in love, because it's not a building site anymore. It's a bar, right? And you see it before anyone else. Those moments are really precious, but if it's small and incremental and you've got months and time, it's very difficult.
Man, I know, we're here to talk about product, and you got about 7,000 questions queued. Just indulge me for
I'm
a
just
second.
deleting them as every minute goes past. I'm not asking that one now.
Well, no, I just love that we're just straight into it.
Totally.
And there's so much, like I want to ask you so many things. And, I know from a product perspective, you talked about, we don't listen to feedback because we see it. Like, man, there's so much to unpack there.
Yeah.
Can we just start for a second with a little bit of the identity stuff and the mission stuff?
Yeah,
and
you go for it.
You already did start talking about that, but I'd love to just know specifically, like what you described then around like where you do your best work, where you're, feel like you're in your element. Like, do you have a sense of like why that is for you individually?
Give us enough time, we'll put it off. I was always the kid that would do the homework 10 minutes before a teacher walked in.
As you walk into school.
Do it on the student's back.
Yeah,
waiting in
pretty
line to go
much.
into your classroom.
Ryan, who does all of our design, is kind of like the driving force of our business. He is always doing something. He's never still. And I think he is the same, where he will just put things off until it has to be done.
Right.
So I think if we set ourselves short deadlines, we can just give 100% rather than 10% each day or 15% each week.
Yeah.
It just means we have to hyper focus on that thing until it's done, and then we can move on. Like, we like multitasking, but ultimately I feel that when it comes to business, we just spread ourselves quite thin.
Sure.
You know, and then when it comes to creative stuff, the other thing that I think is a learned skill is just like knowing when to walk away,
Right.
which then heaps on more pressure.
Yeah, totally.
But I think some of our best stuff is when we've just gone, you know, it has to be done tomorrow. Let's sleep on it.
Yeah.
And just start again tomorrow.
Wow, I love that. I mean, it's kind of chaos ball in a way, you know, and it's kind of hardwiring it in, which is kind of cool and super risky. But like, I feel like what you've done is found a way to make it part of the DNA, and it's like when you do it in that way where it's like, hey, all the pressure is on now. Like I mean, there's a concept, right, called constraint-driven innovation. Right, where like, you know, some of the best innovations you can ever come up with are done under constraint, not because you've just got all the time in the world and a blank canvas. It's like shit's hitting the fan. You got a deadline. You got to think about a faster way to create something without diluting the quality. And it sounds like you guys are kind of almost using that as an operating model.
Yeah, we never. It was never intentional.
Sure.
I think it's just when we identified it, it was like, well, it's a sink or swim situation, right? And I think we don't like disappointing people. Like I mean, particularly Michael and Varney have known us as a business for like the last 10 years. They've been a huge part of our early success. But for us, we come from a line of doing consultancy or pop-ups and stuff, and it could be, hey, can you get this done next week? And it's like, we are flat broke. We need to do this.
Yeah.
And then you just identify, we're like, okay, we can be quite reliable by doing this now. So we can you're known with brands that if something falls down, they can just contact us and we're a bit of a firefighter.
You get it done.
Yeah. And a bit of, we'll always overextend, even if it comes at our cost, mental health or financial cost, because we want it to be better than they expected on a short deadline, because we know we'll get more work out of it. You know, so it's just little, often, and quick.
I mean, there's you're right, that aspect of like, you know, you'll get more work out of it, but there's also something quite philosophical in what you said, because, you know, for most people, especially coming from a consultancy perspective, right, where it's like people are paying you to deliver something. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, you know, the conundrum of all consultants is, how do I deliver something meaningful within budget? And really great consultants don't add those last two words.
Yeah, at all. At all.
So, you know, I know for me, when I'm doing that, you know, as a business consultant, probably shouldn't be saying this on our podcast.
Yeah. You can edit this out.
Yeah. Cut. Like I never think about the budget, right? And I've probably lost so much money in the process because the ROI I'm going for isn't money. It's making people's lives better, right? It's like, how do I help you with your business so you can enjoy your life more? And I'm curious, what's the underwriting thing for you in that context?
I think we have like a few mission statements for like both businesses, right? I think there's our group is called Fancy Free.
Fancy Free.
And it has always been a thing of ours is just like, just make it fun. Just make it fun, just because fun is cool, universally. And that doesn't always have to come at an expense. It can be just, I think some of our most simple ideas have been the most fun.
Sure.
You know, we had two pop-ups come over from New York that are both kind of food-based, and we dress the business to make it not feel like our own. But I bought 200 like comedic chef's hats and made everyone wear them. And all the pictures are of everyone wearing chef hats, so you can't see the ceiling. Like just those, and you know that costs $100.
Yeah, right.
Like those things are just, I think where we do quite well.
Yeah. Are you just out of curiosity, and I might be showing my naivety here, but are you like an unreasonable hospitality endorser?
I think unreasonable feels a little forceful, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Within reason.
It's just within reason. We love chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who's been to a bar, you know, those that haven't, It's a 106-year-old cottage behind a church. We have 33 seats inside. We could fit, 500 outside on this kind of private park that we got licensed, but we cap it at about 80 outside. We have one bathroom, one bartender that has to make 450 drinks every day and DJ at the same time. Like, if we talk unreasonable hospitality, that is it.
I love that.
But it's also, Matt and I and Ryan can look at each other where something is happening that is unusual in our business, and we all look at each other and it's the same look, and in our heads I hear each of their voices, and it's just let it happen. Let it happen. Like, see where it goes.
Ooh. How do you? And this is starting to get into product stuff. How do you take that out of your heads? Because I know exactly that feeling when you're working with someone for so long in service, and you can literally raise half an eyebrow and you're talking to each other from across the room. How do you then pull that into the wider team and create some sort of framework within that chaos to execute when you guys aren't there?
That's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Because, they aren't us.
No.
Trying to teach someone chaos in a business that's not theirs
really
and
hard.
they feel really responsible for is difficult. So the only thing we can do is just show them. We have... we talk a lot, in our business. And for Ryan and I, who don't do a lot of talking, that's Matt's role. So it is every day we have a report on the shift, things that happened, learnings from it, a breakdown of everybody that worked and what their performance was like. Then that goes to a weekly one. Eddie, the venue manager, does 15 minutes each month of the mental health check. And each month we break down every single incident. What's the learning from it? How can we grow from it? Should we let it happen? And it's just that constant communication, but it's, bit of role playing in it. Like, what would we have been done different? Like, whether it's conflict resolution or just going, this guest did this and everyone reacted well to it. So, how can we not replicate it, but replicate the feeling of it?
Yeah.
Right.
So you're creating like guardrails for the team to know where to bounce off.
Totally.
And that they can bounce off.
Totally. But also give them some wire cutters too.
Yeah, sure.
Because they're going to come across things that we haven't experienced before. But hopefully, with the conflict resolution or having seen previous things or talked about it or been in meetings where it's been addressed, they go, okay, well, maybe I'll let it happen for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just those incremental bits of growth that, that I suppose that they get their full growth out of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately, they're not us.
No.
Like, it's our business. We will do with it whatever we want.
Yeah.
Can I throw a bit of an analytical lens at that conversation?
Yeah.
It sounds to me, if I had to try to put that into some type of strategic thinking, I'd be saying, okay, that's awesome. Amazing what you just said, right? And it sounds to me like chaos is almost like a really great brand promise, right, of what you do. And it's like, and I'm sure if I grabbed 50 of your best customers and did a focus group, or even just interviewed them individually, that would probably come up, right? And maybe different wording around it, but that's what they come in for, right? And it's like, okay, that's awesome. And you're right, not everyone can just do it exactly the way that you do it. But if they have that right instruction, it's probably going to come out for each individual a little bit different to what you would do. Like, maybe they would be like, hey, I'm going to buy fireman hats instead of chef's hats or whatever. But it's like, okay, cool. It's just specifically different, but at its core, it's still producing a similar kind of result.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what's happening?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I want Matt, someone asked this question about how do you want people to feel when they've left Caretakers?
Great question.
As a takeaway, and Matt was like, I want them to feel exhausted. That says so much about our business, whether you come in at Monday 4:00 or whether you're the last person there on Saturday night. I want you to feel like I can't go anywhere else now.
Well, it's the see you tomorrow.
Yeah,
That you always hear when you leave.
Whenever
you leave, it's like, see you tomorrow. And you're like, fucking hell. I just
we talk about product. I mean, that is genuinely my favorite thing about the business.
What is the Caesar?
Very early on, when it was Matthew and I behind the bar, we had one of our regulars who was fairly regular, and he was like, "All right, I'm off. Paid the bill." And he was like, "Oh, I'll see you soon." And Matt went, "Oh, see you tomorrow." And he was like, "No." Matt just put his hand on his shoulder and was like, "I'll see you tomorrow." And it's just this passive aggressive comment that has been like a huge part of us. It's also a bit of confidence just going, we say it to first timers or, people we're never going to see again that have come from the US on holiday or whatever. And it's like, I'll see you tomorrow.
So good.
Because it stops them in their track. It's not something they're used to hearing, but it's also like, it's a bit of confidence and you've done a good job.
Totally. So, yeah. And it invites them to indulge a bit and come back again.
Oh yeah, but, it's like, honestly, I'll see you tomorrow. And they always go like, all right.
But sorry, you guys. What's either the funniest or most socially awkward response?
There's some awkward people out there who just would not know what to say, for sure.
I mean, now we have our regulars that say it to us and we're like, I'll see you tomorrow.
Love it. So good.
So good. I mean, that's like a perfect touch point in your venue, and there's so many that isn't a drink that just becomes synonymous with the experience, right? What other things?
We are not in the business of drinks.
No.
We're in the business of making people feel good, right? I genuinely believe the best experience that I've had in bars is I can't remember everything I've drank, and it's not just about service, it's the environmentals, it's touch points, materials, like those are the best experience that I've ever had.
Yeah.
And we just try and replicate that. I mean, our drinks are, I think, incredible.
Like that's a non-negotiable, right?
Yeah, but I think if you're in the business of drinks, like they have to be. That's the baseline.
It can't only be that.
But good bars and great bars are the ones that make you feel like I miss that bar.
Yeah, totally.
Or if you experience it in another country and you can't go back for X amount of time, I'm like, well,
you think about it all the time.
I think about Gerald's bar in San Sebastian at least once a week.
Yeah, wow.
I think about Outer Boy in New York daily. I want to be there. I will go to that city for that place. And if I am there, I will go every day.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I mean, I have exactly the same feelings about so many different venues as well. It's just like, it's the St. John, like every time, that's a weekly thing for me, probably daily. And same thing when you're in London, it's like not negotiable. You beeline.
Yeah.
You just have this innate feeling when you walk in the door.
Yeah. I mean, St. John is perfect. Even Bread and Wine by St. John it's no music, rude French-ish style service with very bold English food.
Yeah.
It's marvelous. It's marvelous.
Can you talk more about that sense of it's not just about the quality of the drinks, right? We're in the business of making people feel good. How do you curate that? What are some of the touch points outside of just what you intuitively do? Yeah,
I think we have a bit of a mantra of we call it fine diving. It's fine dining hospitality approach to systems with the chaos of a dive bar.
Yeah,
there's 100 silent things that you do not see in our business that are happening in order for you to have a great time.
Yeah,
and a lot of that can be just intensive training, scripting, certain things. We're really big on efficiency of movement, conversation, but even just basic things like, gender neutral language, making sure you don't touch a guest. If a guest comes in on their own, introduce them to 2 other staff members so they don't feel vulnerable.
That's a good one.
We don't move anyone more than once from a seat.
Okay.
Unless they request. Those little things of this is your place, and telling everyone that whatever seat they're in, this is the best seat in the house.
Yeah, got it.
Because that's the foundation of their experience.
Yeah.
Everything else on top of that, it's just a little bit of a glow. It could be just something basic as just gifting something to someone really unexpected. this is something that I learned in a business in Sydney, but they were like, we give each bartender $50 every day to buy someone a drink.
Ooh.
Don't give it to hospo.
Yeah. Totally.
Give it to a person that's out with having a drink with their kid.
Yeah.
You know, give it to the person that is it's their first time in Sydney. It's the first time in their bar. Buy them that first round, like, because that means more to them. Give it to the people who are unexpecting. Friday night we had 2 people who had come in. They drank martinis. They came in Saturday as well, and they were just like, "I love these glasses." So that, like, when they left, I made sure that they had a whole martini setup. So that's flask, 2 glasses, pins, ramekins. Like, all right, that's cost us $30.
Yeah.
But that person is a cheerleader for life,
forever.
for our bar.
Absolutely.
Totally.
For $30.
Yeah.
You know that, and they will remember what they drank because they'll be making it at home.
Yeah,
you know, like it's those are small things. I mean, that is an expensive way to run your business, but I would rather lose 10 grand building cheerleaders armies, for our bar and our product and what we do, than not do that, because that is the most effective marketing for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever read Delivering Happiness by Tony Sight?
No.
You ever read it?
Nah.
Have you ever talked about it?
No, you haven't.
No way.
No, you talk about a lot of books with me, so that is one that has not come up.
We've got 2 kids. I think Michael's got 6 now. So.
Not much time to read, brother.
I'll link it to you guys after this, but it's great. I'll quickly mention it. What's great about it is, and why I thought about it is because I'm curious to ask you. You know, you've got all these moments, and you've created like these like urban legend stories about, you know, how you make people feel good and create the cheerleaders, as you said. And I'm wondering whether you've been keeping a log and documenting these, because Tony Sight, who wrote this book, Delivering Happiness, he was the founder, CEO of Zappos. He's passed away now, unfortunately. But, you know, the story of Zappos, it was the shoe company. So this is like literally just selling shoes online before that was the thing.
Yeah.
And ended up selling the company, like exiting for like $2 billion or something ridiculous. And you go, how the fuck? What, you're selling shoes? Like what? But they were famous and had all these urban legends similarly. But like, how did they just break the mold by trying to please people, right? And make, you know, customers just evangelical about what they do. So had all these crazy things like in recruitment, you know, it doesn't matter if you're in the C-suite, everyone does their first 4 weeks in the business in the warehouse, right? Or in the call center. And in the call centers, there would just be like no scripts, you know, it is like you are just on the phone, right? And until the person you're talking to is happy, you keep talking. And then there'd be stories about someone who was on the phone for 7 hours with this old guy in the middle of nowhere because he just wanted to chat, you know, and other stories around, you know, this one person working in the call center who'd spoken to someone who had bought some shoes and didn't need them anymore, bought them for her mum who had passed away. And he was just like, I'm so sorry about that. Don't even worry about anything. Sent a FedEx guy around to pick up the shoes. Immediately after he leaves, another FedEx guy knocks on the door with like flowers and a card. And he paid for all that out of his own pocket. Like there was no company card to put that on. And so there's all these like amazing urban legends around how they kind of broke the mold on, you know, pleasing customers effectively. And it turned into this unbelievable book that I've used a lot in, you know, similar businesses that I've, you know, owned or operated. But curious, are you kind of keeping a log at all, or is it?
We are terrible at logging. We're great at
systems, bad at logging.
I mean, you only have to look at our Instagram account to see where we could be better.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and you know, I am a hoarder. You know, I said it in a talk I did for Michael a while back, but I watch hoarding programs and find things I need. I don't need to keep anything more.
I love that.
Oh, it's so good. I feel like you were touching on at the start around customer feedback, and I'm kind of keen to go there because it's something in our industry that there's kind of 2 sides of the fence generally. There's the ones that agonize over the daily email scrape of all your reviews and read every one in detail and then action off the back of that. Then there's the ones that tend not to look at it and don't really care what comes through. I mean, I guess you're the latter.
Yeah, I mean, we listen. If there's a pattern emerging with like reviews and stuff, like obviously it needs addressing.
If it's the same thing, sure.
Yeah, but I think by the time a drink hits a table, it's gone through a month of testing with arguably some of the best people in the country. We only use hyper seasonal stuff, because it's abundant and it's the best price.
Yeah.
It's gone through staff feedback, staff training. So that's a month's worth of agonizing. So, probably 15 to 20 people would have tried, tasted, offered something, whether it's taken or not, but we've heard them. So by the time you see a guest, you're kind of looking for that first sip because that will give you everything.
Yeah.
Someone orders it twice. You're good.
Yeah.
It's not that we don't take it. It's just to take it with a pinch of salt, right?
Totally.
I think but that's what we do now. For the first year, it was not that. It was agonizing. It was, and that's negative pressure.
Totally.
Because there's a bit of, imposter syndrome when you open up your first business of like, also, I'm not good enough to succeed versus it has to succeed. Those things are always in conflict, right?
Yeah.
And very early on, it was 3 of us, so it wasn't 20 people trying stuff. And I'm giving it to Matt and Ryan, and they're worrying about their shit and their workload. So it's a bit like, it's great, fine, whatever, bye.
Put it out.
I'm not saying it wasn't good, but to the standard of where we are now, it's very different because of the input that we receive from multiple people.
The way that you put that, right? Like there's the 2 categories, right? People that are aware and unaware. They add a dimension to it. I feel like there's
the middle.
Well, there's aware and there's unaware, but there's also conscious and unconscious.
Yeah.
Like you can be aware but unconscious.
Yeah.
Unconsciously aware.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like, you're reading every review, but you're taking no insight from it. Right. You're not reading between the lines.
Just kind of getting angry about each one rather than
exactly.
creating any strategy.
Like what Rob was saying, where it's like, okay, you got to like you use the words, like take it with a pinch of salt, but to me that says like, cool, I'm hearing it, right? But I'm also applying my own judgment and discretion to this as to what do I need to do and what do I not need to do.
Yeah.
Right? And then, on the other side, there's people that are unaware and just unconscious.
Yeah.
It's just not even, maybe because of anxiousness or whatever, they're just not even checking it.
Yeah, what's my Google password?
But I feel like there's a way that you can get, like aware and consciously aware, but the goal would be to get to like consciously unaware.
Sure.
Does that kind of make sense? And it's kind of like, cool, that's when you're just like, great, you've taken it with the pinch of salt and you're consciously taking the information out, but you're no longer aware of the pressure that you talked about.
Yeah.
In a busy service, seconds count. Square's point of sale is there to streamline your operations from order flowing from the front of house to the back of house to tableside payments with Square handheld. It's tech your staff will love to use and tech they won't need to fiddle with so they can focus on the best service. Head to squareup.com because service still matters.
Well, I think as you're touching on it before, like you look at them and you only really bend to anything on there when it's a consistent stream of this. It's the same thing.
Totally. If there's the inkling of a pattern, then
you have to explore it.
Then we address it.
Totally. But I'd like to dig in a little bit more into this idea around like you're touching on it there. You agonize over a month of R&D with a product to hit a table. If someone doesn't like it, that's okay.
That's totally okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think there's this thing in hospitality, whether it's restaurant-based, cocktail bar, whatever, of this idea that we need to be everything to everyone. And I've always tried to speak to people about it's totally fine if 5%, 10% of people don't really love what we do. If you've got the 20% that are evangelical about what you do, right? Like, how do you take that? Or what's your lens? Or do you want every single person to absolutely love you?
I really like white bread, like most people. But it's it's really fucking boring. Like, I think everything for everyone is impossible, right? So we just don't deal with it. I think we think these are the best things that we can put out this month with a broad spectrum of this one's going to be super easy. We'll sell a heap of these. This one is purposely a bit challenging. The one that looks the most beautiful usually is the most challenging. And you know what? I would say 60% of the people will like it, but that's okay. There is no guarantee that when you spend money that you're going to get, it's not going to be a life-changing moment for you, and nor should it be.
No.
We're fortunate enough to be in the world's 50 best, and the first year that we were in it, the first guest that was through the door said to one of our staff, "This better be one of the best experiences I've ever had."
Yeah. Oh, that's the benchmark people have. Like, okay, and I've experienced the same.
I was stood next to our staff member, and the way that they dealt with it was to just lean in and just say, "Relax.
Yeah,
it's a pub."
Yeah.
This thing does not define our business.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't define your experience while you're here.
No,
it was the same business yesterday before that announcement. It's going to be the same business in a year's time.
Yeah, beautiful. Love that.
So yeah, I think I try loads of things I don't like, and it's okay.
Yeah,
it makes me appreciate the things that when I do taste that I love.
Yeah, I think like you reference back to what you were saying before. Some of the best experiences you have, you don't ever remember the drink because everything else is so damn good. And I think if you're having a 3-drink experience, one of them's not 100% in your wheelhouse, but the other ones are delicious and your experience is amazing. It's not what you remember.
Well, at very least, you said yes to it.
Yeah.
You either ordered it or you took a recommendation and you pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
Not that the sole onus is on you.
Yeah.
You played your part in it.
Yeah.
I think we can get bogged down with cocktails where people say, "I don't like this thing in that, so I won't enjoy the whole thing." Some of the whole parts.
Totally.
I don't like fries being served in a basket or a shovel like they are in some burger joints. But it's it's okay.
Yeah.
I feel like it's those riskier items that you pursue that people might not like straight away. It's like you have to be done. I mean, like, think about it. So many great things come with a level of acquisition. Right?
Totally.
Like it's a bit of an acquired taste or whatever. And if there isn't someone trying to nudge you in that direction, you miss out on so many of the nicer things in life.
100%. And in what we do in hospitality, if we all just tried to do everything the same, nothing would be interesting. And you have to colour outside the lines, right?
I think colouring outside the line is jazz, baby.
Yeah. Got the sound clip? Tim Marty, sound clip that up.
Oh, yes.
What's something that you've had to really fight for that you really like? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about something that you really had to fight for to make it a thing?
Oh, fuck.
Matt, Ryan and I are as close to being brothers as can be.
Yeah.
We have been broke together, shared beds, shared meals. Like, we've gone through a lot. So we are very tight. We have a system that is democratic, but it's also quite spiteful as well, as it should be. If you have something that you want to get over the line, you fight for it, and it goes to a vote. And if one person says no, and then you've got a swing vote, you can be an arsehole about it.
Really?
Yeah, because why not? Unless it's really important or something you're crazy passionate about. But if it's something, benign, or it's just something that you want to do because you feel quite selfish about it, fuck yeah. That swing vote's brilliant. And
Three's good.
It's awesome. And you know what? Like, sometimes you don't get things over the line, but you go, well, I'll bank that swing vote.
I'll remember that. I remember
that, which is fun. Yeah. But it's also like, it's truly understanding that this is not your business. You are a part of it.
Yeah.
So what it might be important to you might not be to them, to the point of where it's not best for the business. So yeah, we have, we have these votes regularly, but nothing that's memorable where you can go, well, I really had to fight for that. Because if you fight for it and it doesn't work out, you're on the hook for that as well. Yeah. So you're not going to get that swing vote again. So, you give 80% of your passion to it. You're like, I don't mind if it doesn't get over the line.
Yeah. But, stakeholder management involved.
Yeah. But three works for us for that very reason.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you could do it with two, though. I mean, what I love about that as a concept is in most organizations, when a decision there's no consensus on a decision.
Yeah.
What that usually results in is stagnation. It means you stop moving forward. But in these guys' case,
you have to move forward.
Well, no, it's like, hey, it's a swing vote. Great, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's like you're constantly moving forward.
Yeah, totally.
But whatever happens, that thing gets called. So like I made a chair. It looked hideous. It was too heavy for me to move. So Matt and Ryan were both like, let's keep it. But it's now called the democracy chair. You have to look at your decision every day now.
That's so brutal.
Where's the chair?
It's in the ether now.
Yeah.
Amazing. Now, I'm cognizant a lot of people will tune in to talk about not only Caretakers, but also your new opening, 3 Horses. I'm keen to hear from you about what was carried over from Caretakers and what wasn't. What was like cognitively left in the Cottage?
Well, Guinness definitely was left at the Cottage.
Yeah. How many people have asked for it at 3 Horses? So
far?
Far?
Like a couple of people, but it's a bit like, hey, where can I get a Guinness? You're like, there's a pub around the corner that has 200 people queuing up for Guinness. You can try and get it. Listen, we did the thing of like, we know our systems. Let's transfer absolutely everything. 2 weeks in, half of it's gone.
Yeah.
You
have to adapt.
And that is fun, but it's also Caretakers is a collection of 3-4 cupboards with a staircase running through it. It is a house. Like there's a fireplace in every room. It's dysfunctional. So we have had to bend that building to our will, right? With systems, training, staff, personalities. Like it's
I have to very quickly interject on this as you go through how difficult that fucking building is I looked at that building, right? And when I was a building site, and I verbatim said to the developer,
I've got 3 daughters, they're not going to fit in
here.
here.
Exactly. I was like, you'd have to be fucking crazy to open a venue here.
Hi.
But I know some guys who are pretty fucking crazy. And I was just, watching that journey, like, from what it was to what it is now is just fucking phenomenal. Especially when they're like, we don't even know if you can use upstairs yet. And I was just like, oh my God, I've got just the guys for you. Fuck.
But it's, it is a unique business and you get one opportunity.
What makes it awesome.
At that, right? And I think it's ours to fuck up, So we come from having all these systems to create, form in dysfunctional places. But 3 Horses is a long room where you can see everyone, including all the staff, at any one time. It functions like a traditional bar would. At Caretakers on a Friday night, there'll be 11 staff on, and at any one point, you can only see 2.
Whoa.
That like these are the big differences, right? So we went into with the mentality of like loads of comms. We have a couple of roles that are kind of like satellite roles that maybe just act as a bit of a quarterback between departments, just to transfer information and nothing else. And we did 2 weeks of that, and we're like, we can lose 4 staff on the shift.
Yeah, wow. Because you can see everything.
Because we don't need it, Wow. So there's a lot that came over. There's a lot that we thought we would require. It is its own business and its own beast, has its own problems, has its own personality. The team have their own personality, so they function differently. Yeah, I mean, last year we sold 22,000 martinis at the Cottage. which is, pretty outrageous. So it would be foolish not to take something that I think pretty close to amazing, and not tap into that with a new business
and make it its own. In that
venue. So we just did there's a kind of historic classic cocktail called a Jabberwock, and it is a martini with the addition of sherry in there. We have a sherry focused
My personal
bar.
favorite.
Yeah, same.
Very good.
And those that know it love it, but don't see it anywhere. If you ask a random bartender how to make it, they just look at you like a dog that's been shown a card trick. It's
ask anyone to put sherry near a martini, they just look at you a little bit stupidly. It's like, what do you mean? It's the best combo ever.
Yeah, it's how do you take something delicious and make it amazing? So so I think there's things that we are known for. If you ask anyone what does Caretakers do, it's Guinness, martini, and vinyl, right? And to not be known for something and then try and at least extort it in a different way, I think would feel quite foolish. Yeah. But we're not looking for a Caretakers number 2. We don't want a waiting room for a busy bar.
How did you manage it's funny, I think in the group mentality, there's always this thing, like I always think about multi-venues in the one group as like siblings in a way, where it's just like, cool, you've all got the same DNA, but you need to be individually different, right? And identical. Definitely. How did you manage that what was the composition like?
I think we know what Caretakers is by looking at something or feeling something immediately. And I would put that to, Eddie, the venue manager, and the creative team too. They will know when that looks or feels or tastes or sounds like us. It is just this inherent thing that is a big part of us, and it's now a big part of them. But when you've got a blank canvas, it's like, okay, what are the things that have worked? What are the things that work well but are very much a Caretaker's thing? How can we adapt it? What just can't come is really important. Or what are we not seeing in our own market? I think both our venues are really personal to us.
Sure.
There's a lot of people who know us. You can walk in and just go, this is definitely our venue. There's Liverpool flags in both venues. There's attention to sound to a critical level. The way the language is used it's how we speak to people. It's how we speak to each other. But it also has to have its own identity. So we do that a lot with touch and design.
Okay.
Is the thing. I think I can still see Caretaker's DNA in a lot of the drinks at Three Horses. Layout is wildly different in terms of things that we spend money on, things that guests touch.
Sure.
Right. So a lot of that is design led or material led.
Yeah. So if you like, say you walk out of here and you bump into someone on the street and they were just like, oh, hey, I'm in town again, and remember me from a year ago? I came to Caretakers. It was the best night ever. And you're like, hey, we've got another place now. Like, what would you tell them as a way of them knowing that they're going to not get Caretakers again, just in a different room?
I would say, Three Horses is a cocktail bar.
Okay.
Okay,
got it.
In the most basic format, it's got a sherry focus, so that's the high note of it. But Caretakers is a pub.
Got you.
Three Horses is a cocktail bar.
Yeah.
And why sherry? Was it a market thing? You looked at Melbourne and thought, no one really focused on sherry over here.
Well, there's probably
or is it just like
for that, though,
you fighting with the boys being like, it has to be fucking sherry?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot here, right? So I have always loved sherry. Wine. Matt and Ryan are both really into wines. The sherry always kind of like is a part of our dinners, pre, during, after, was some fortifieds. We were in Madrid last year. We went to this really old, dusty place called La Venencia. It's like 120-year-old kind of sherry bodega. No music. There's no dimmers on the lights. It's 7 shades of shit. The average age in there is 70 behind the bar. And they have like 6 sherrys by the glass. 8 food items that are all cut on this kind of, domestic chopping board with one knife, and we loved it. And we were very much like, okay, there's sherry and a lot of stuff for Caretakers. We just don't tell people about it.
Yeah. It's like salt and pepper.
Yeah, it's there for balance. It's there because it's quite cheap. It's delicious. Like, we make some pretty amazing stuff here in Australia, and more importantly, Victoria. But we walked away from it going, there is a Victorian version of this. Maybe not that, odd.
Sure.
But there is.
A mirror to the future for you boys.
The future looks good. But there is, because, we make a Pura here, our version of sherry. We have an amazing wine culture where I think the base knowledge of wine in Victoria is pretty amazing. Like, you can go into some pubs and have some pretty good wines. You can go to places like the Lincoln. You've got, maybe 300 wines by the bottle, and it's a pub showing the AFL. Like, I think that's, I never lose sight of how good that is. So I think that we've got a good audience here that would just lap a lot of this up. The only difference now is that we're telling them what we're doing.
Right, okay.
It's not the secret. It's just a bit more of a focus. And that was enough. We were pretty fortunate that maybe 3 months later we know the site. I mean, it's 80 meters away from Caretakers. It's not this magical revelation. It was just that we saw the guy vacating the bar. So we approached them, and it all kind of fell into place. Listen, I think when things go well for us, name, feel, design, color palette and swatch, drink ideas like that. I'd be lying if I said it took us more than 48 hours for most of that stuff.
Really?
Because when it starts going,
it flows, right?
It's like you can't stop it. So, and that's when we are excited when it's the three of us just
riffing.
But
it's
because
amazing,
it's like, I think I wrote our first menu in 10 minutes, and I sent it to Matt and Ryan just for proofing in my notes in my phone. And I think 2 out of the 16 drinks changed.
Amazing.
Like, I think that's when we know that we're onto something. Okay. And then Ryan just knocked it out of the park with the design stuff. So
I want to dive into that a little bit more. You sort of touching on it before when you were talking about building the venue around, you guys spend money on things people touch, right? It's all experiential. And obviously sound is a big thing for you as well. And talking about what you were touching on then around once you know, and you can fucking run pretty quickly to create something. Someone gave you a blank check. Spend what you want on a bar, whatever location. Does any of that change for you in terms of those steps?
I think everything changes. I think we always need like a kernel of an idea. We need a seed. And I don't think money, I'm not saying this out of privilege, but like, I don't think money ever factors in kind of what we want to do, because we can do something cool for fuck all. Caretakers, I think, cost us, all up like $250,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is nuts.
Yeah.
In terms of like, you can build a bar for a lot less, but man, I'm tell you what, you're going to be fixing a lot every day.
Absolutely.
So, I think the blank canvas horrifies me for a start.
Yeah, totally.
And where money isn't an issue, becomes an issue.
Yeah.
Because I like,
constraint.
I like constraint, but listen, like I am
like records though.
Okay, that's tax deductible. But I really like constraint, financial constraint within my role, right?
Yeah.
And the way I balance that is like we have 2 really nice things, right? And that makes 2 really cheap things look better in value.
Yeah, cool.
Like, because you look at it as a family of, like, say, glassware.
Sure. Yeah.
Everyone can go and spend $80 US on one nice glass. But that to me is like, I don't, like, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
But you don't.
To what end though?
Yeah, but you don't get to do the little trips to Daiso, and you go, oh, well, that's, I can see a drink in that, and that's the inspiration enough. If you're just going to
Did you say that you have two nice things and it makes the other two cheap things? It makes everything look more beautiful.
It definitely makes the cheaper things look better.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so true because it's like, it gives them their own sense of purpose in the grand scheme of things as well.
Totally. And, I think I really like texture. The thought of making people address a vessel with a bit of discomfort or a bit of thought. Like we had these hexagonal porcelain brown ribbed, they're like bowls really, and we served a drink in one of them, and I loved it because it's heavy, it's awkward. You have to drink it out of a corner. Yeah. But that makes you address it, and it's almost kind of like like you're washing your face in like this kind of prayer motion, like just to drink a drink. And I think that's cool, but they cost us $3.
Yeah,
and it feels very purposeful, but it also stands out wildly on the menu that you have this one. We call them uniques, but like essentially they are porcelain or something that is not our run-of-the-mill everyday glass, and it usually has to be awkward, ugly, or almost not fit for purpose. And I think
it's shocking advice.
But it only works because there's maybe one, maybe two on the menu where it's not like a whole thing that this is what we do.
Forcing people, yeah, sure.
But it's underpinned by, we might have really three nice bits of glassware at the top end as well. Yeah. So you feel like, it's like, where do you get these from? They're beautiful. Do you have them made for you? And you're like, oh God, no. Like,
I think it's the first thing I said when I picked up the martini glass at Three Horses. I'm like, where did you get these from?
Yeah.
And I had to address that. Like, it's a unique shape.
Yeah. It's
genuine personality.
Yeah.
But with that, there is people who make really nice glassware in Japan. And all I did was I approached a glass maker in China. I was like, can you rip these off? Like weight, touch, feel, volume. And I'll buy 1,000 off you. And they said, yes, thank you very much.
Wow. So I'll be with you in 3 days.
Yeah, great.
Nice, thank you very much.
Because then if, I don't think about it at night if I break one.
Yeah, sure.
No. When you're talking to a guest and you hear one ping, your heart doesn't break.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe when we get to the end of the run, I'll start feeling a bit different. But I think that comes with, we probably had the money to have really nice glassware. I just don't want it because I don't want that thought on my head of like, well, we have to now touch glassware differently, which means we're going to slow ourselves down, which means ultimately
less chaos.
It all feeds back to like how we want our business to run and feel, and even on the end product of how we clean it, store it, use it. It has to be part of that chaos too.
Yeah.
So we do have a levy of how much I'll spend on glassware.
Sure. I remember one of the first jobs in hospitality I ever had. It was in this cafe, and all the crockery was like handmade, like pottery, and it was just an espresso cup, and its little saucer was like $60 or something. And it was just like a pretty busy cafe.
Yeah, and a bunch of kids running around with them.
Man, I still feel like I've got repressed anxiety from that experience of just not wanting to break a cup.
Yeah. I have the same anxiety of polishing 1,000 Zalto glasses at Attica every fucking night and just accidentally breaking one and just being like, oh, that's going to go on the report at the end. It's not good for the soul. It is not good. I want to ask, I imagine given Caretakers and now Three Horses status in the industry and yourselves, you must get asked by a lot of aspiring business owners different questions about how the fuck do they start their own venue. Like what, to synthesize it down to like a short sentence, like what would you tell young Rob coming through the industry that says, I want to open my own bar? Like, what do I have to focus on?
Yeah, I think, I definitely asked those questions when I was younger.
Yeah.
And
what type of responses did you get and what stuck?
I think the biggest thing was weight.
Yeah.
You know, the bar you open up as a 24-year-old versus the bar you open up as a 34-year-old.
Yeah.
Wildly different.
Yeah.
Your level of care, be it self-care or care for your business, finances, anything, wildly different. I would always tell people, wait.
Yeah.
I would also tell them to get a business partner. I see people who run businesses on their own, particularly in the hospitality world, and it's hard yakking.
Yeah.
There is, you need somebody to tell you no. You need someone to show you your democracy chair. You know, I think it's really healthy. Being told no is really healthy.
Yeah.
For you, because not every idea is a good idea.
Yeah.
You also need someone to, you know, support you because we had a joke when we opened Caretakers. It was just like, whose turn is it to break? You know, because it can't be all three of us at the same
God
time.
forbid,
And we have that at home where, we've got 2 kids. My wife is an emergency medicine doctor.
Whoa.
We both can't break at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like, regardless of what you're going through, if your wife is going through, you know, hell, it's like, I've got to get through it. And then when she's okay, I'll crumble.
Yeah.
And so, those are 2 definite things. I don't think money is the one thing. I think it's the one thing people worry about.
Yeah.
I can't do it without money.
Yeah.
We don't have any investors at Caretakers. And we come from a history of doing pop-ups, mainly because I think all of us had this parasite in us, luckily at the same time, where we can't work and shouldn't work for anybody again until we've done our own thing. And I think if you've not got that feeling in you, you don't have that drive enough.
Yeah.
And you will get it. Like, I speak to so many people now that, you know, not even in just a hospital, but they're like, I would rather fail on my own, having given it a go, and then just go back to the job I'm at now.
Totally.
Than feeling like I just didn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, pop-ups are really fucking safe, if I'm brutally honest, because you can chop and change. You can change the name, the identity, and people who just remember it. Yeah.
Ultimate MVP.
Yeah.
You know, and we did that for 3 years, and then we had a 6-month residency, pretty much, and that changed a lot about us, because it was essentially running a business with the training wheels on. You know, in 6 months you're getting kicked out of here.
Yeah. Anyway,
like, so don't sink too much cash into it. Like, be really frugal, but like ramp up the things that we wanted to tell people or we wanted to be known for. All right, that's place still gives some PTSD.
Yeah.
But it's a huge part of our journey. So if there's a way that you can test things out without committing to a lease, explore them first.
Yeah, amazing.
Because the one thing about us was, you know, it wasn't whether we were going to succeed was the most important thing. It was, am I getting into business with the right people?
Yeah, cool.
Because if that doesn't work, everything else is going to be pretty challenging.
Yeah.
You know, that is my lifeline, that is my support system. And if they're not going to be there for me, then it's going to be difficult, right?
Yeah.
So that's what doing pop-ups for that amount of time taught us. Because everything else maybe would work out.
Yeah.
But that had to be the foundation. So
yeah,
don't worry about money. Wait until you're a little bit older, and also just if you can test out your ideas, do it.
Yeah, amazing. Great pieces of advice. I think so many people get into their first businesses, as you sort of noting, too young, and then they find out way too late that they've got the wrong business partners or the wrong site or whatever else, and it all kind of unravels from there, right?
Everyone throws in 10 grand and you've got 9 owners.
Yeah.
Like that makes my skin crawl.
Yeah.
Like, for them. I don't know any success stories that have worked out like that, where everyone wants an equal voice, and it's essentially you've just bought, probably 3 people are going to be in the business. So they bought themselves a job.
Yeah.
You know, this carries a lot of risk too.
Yeah.
And burnout.
Yeah, totally. And then at the end of it, you got people saying, "I need my money back." You know, and that is a well-trodden path.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the advice of wait is the best, because you talked about it. Like, you've either got that burning desire to do this, or you don't, and you're just in love with the idea of it.
Yeah.
And the best way to filter that out is to go, hey, just wait 10 years.
Yeah. And then they'll decide, it shows them up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like I've quite a few people ask me similar questions, and I always try and put like a barrier in front of them to jump if they want more help. And I'm always like, just send me an email with all that info of like what your plan is. Honestly, 80% people don't send the email.
Yeah.
Because they're just at that, it would be awesome to do that, not at the stage of I'm actually ready to do that.
Grind it out.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think like riffing on what you were saying about those key points, what for those people that aren't quite ready or too young, as we're sort of putting it, if you were to tell them, okay, go off for 5 years and learn X, Y, Z from these types of businesses, what would you tell those people? Like where, like, is there specific places you would say
don't go and work in the UK? I mean,
yeah, we've all fucking done that, haven't we? Literally all of us have done that.
40 hours a week is part-time. Yeah, I think the best thing you can do really is this advice was given to me when I was like 17. I left school at 15. I have no qualifications, like 0 papers to my name. But someone said to me, I was like, you just need to be better than everybody else because you don't have anything to fall back on. And like, it's pretty brutal, but like, you know, I'm also working in a bar in Liverpool as a 17-year-old, you know, and it's not advice. It's a wake up call at that point. You know, the advice was pretty much like, we will give you the amount of training that you need to succeed. But also, you know, in 2 years, you're going to be 19 and there'll be a 17-year-old getting this advice too. That's probably a natural. You just got to be better or work harder than that person.
Wow.
You know, I'm fortunate. I'm not in debt. I have 2 businesses. I live on the other side of the world to where I was born. I travel the world. Like, I'm fortunate, but I fucking worked as well. You know, I've put up with some shit. But I think the thing that I tell our staff is that, like, you will know when it's time for you to go, because you need to be the one that listens to the training when you first start. You need to be the one that, like, lives and breathes that training while you're here. And then when you've been here long enough where you're doing the training and passing on that advice, it's time to be at the bottom of the ladder again. And that cycle is ever going on. But we've all seen the people that have stayed in a business too long, and it's toxic. It's not good for anybody. You know, I think identifying when it's your time to go and you want to learn again. We're so lucky, the amount of people that just are sponges at both our businesses. It's really nice. But we look for that as a personality trait. Where they need stimulation, they need information.
You're not looking for people that come in saying they're ready-made to just go on a station and pump it out.
Or worse, you know, we'll never hire someone that wants us to sort their life out. You know, which is a common trait of like, don't know what I want to do, but I really like your bar. You know, it's like we're not. You know, we're a parent, we're not your coach. We need someone who's going to come in.
It's not Caretaker's university.
No, with fire in their belly that is going to make our business better. And we give you everything else with that. So I think, you know, I've always had a bit of hustle in me because I haven't got much to fall back on. It was this or nothing.
I feel like it sets you up. Like, you know, you talk about a lot of those times with a little bit of disdain and whatnot, but it's also what has enabled you to be able to just sit there and let a fucking unbelievably detailed concept bleed out of you in 48 hours, right? Like, it makes me, you know, that Hemingway quote when he's talking to someone who's like, you know, oh, it's just so hard to sit there and write. And he was like, what do you mean write? Don't you just sit there and bleed? You know, and it's like, and it's like, cool, if you want to be able to do that, you know, you need to have all that experience that comes with it. So that you know, and that experience doesn't just come from cherry picking these great little interactions, right? It's the moments of adversity that I'm sure have given you the wisdom that enables you to let amazing things bleed out, you know?
Yeah, I think, the three of us are, either close to 40 or past it. And I think we know who we are. And I think that's definitely something that comes with maybe a bit of wisdom, but it's definitely something, a bit of age. I think, what I am very good at is looking at something and applying it to a different part of life.
Right.
I think the things that made me a bit weird as a kid are the things that set me apart now positively.
Sure.
Where I will notice I'm terrible with like facial expressions and like I'm not very good at reading people. But I'm really like obsessive over textures, weights, materials. Like those things are, awesome to have in a bar. If it's just me, it's a bit self-indulgent. You need the personality of like Matt or Matt's training or our staff to make that come alive and not feel obsessive.
Yeah, got it.
They wash one hand with the other there.
But it harnesses that uniqueness, right?
Yeah, totally. I am so fortunate that I work in an environment where creativity is awarded.
Yeah.
And it's something that it's not we're not making art here, we're making a drink. The very nature of it is that it should be destroyed. I think that's awesome. Like, the food in a restaurant only looks best on the pass. I think there's something really cool about that, and it just feels a bit chaotic as well, where it should look beautiful, but in 5 minutes time it shouldn't. It should be gone.
And does that ethos obviously bleeds into how often you change the menu at both venues? Like the month you were doing weekly at Caretakers, now it's monthly.
Talk about pressure.
Yeah.
So we identified a couple of businesses when we opened Caretakers that I suppose not we wanted to emulate, but they were, I suppose, they just do things differently. And there was things that like I can read 4 ingredients that aren't cocktail related, together, and I know that would be, say, a bulletin place drink.
Yeah, cool.
It was that the drinks are just so identifiable, how they're listed, they're worded, and what they look like. So it was, bulletin place for how the drinks look.
Yeah.
And the attention to, I suppose, produce. And then 3 sheets in London for how it was worded.
Yeah.
So like a very technical bar, everything is, very minimalist, including the menu. But the language that they use is they only list things that you can taste. So there's no method in there. There's no description to it. There might be something that isn't peach but tastes like peach, so peach will be written.
Cool.
And I was like,
so it's a tasting note rather than ingredient.
It's so disarming, but it also means that a 70-year-old person can walk and just go, I really like peach.
Yeah.
It's just really nice. So those are the 2 things. The other thing that Bulletin Place used to do was they used to change their menu every day. They have obviously like a system in which makes it a little bit easier, but we're like, okay, well, we'll give ourselves a bit of breathing room and we'll change it every week. And we did that for 3 months and it nearly broke me because it was just me, working like 70, 80, 90 hours and doing all the prep and writing the menu, and like it was horrible. So that is something that just didn't work out. And I said to Ryan, I was like, this is going to kill me, but I think we should change our menu every month. And he was a bit like, oh, I don't know. We've been doing it for 3 months now, and it feels like a part of the business. And I'm like, it has to change. It has to change.
I'll kill you.
It wasn't so much of a question, more of a statement. And it was the best thing about our business because A, it gives us breathing room. 2, it gives us more time to concentrate on what is right. We also now change the menu design every month, which tells its own story.
Was there any splashback at all?
Yeah, probably, but it's not their business either.
Yeah,
I think the business is better for it.
Yeah.
So,
but even if there was, I mean, you said probably. Like, why I ask is because feel like sometimes we just get so. No, I don't mean this is a criticism of Ryan at all, but it was just more like you get so caught up in these like standards that you set for yourself from a customer facing perspective, and it's like, oh, we have to do this because this is what we've said. And sometimes it's like no one actually cares about that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like suddenly you change. Like what people care about is that you're running your business in a more optimal way, which is going to mean a better experience for them at the end of the day.
Totally. I mean, you know, we stopped doing food after, I think we did food for 2 years.
Wow.
And, you know, we did a Welsh rarebit that genuinely people still ask about now. It's like, is that ever coming back? And we're like, no. Like,
no way.
Like, the business is better without it. Like it was amazing, but we're better off without it.
Yeah.
And I think we're so critical on our business, but it's also, if there's an inkling that it's not working, we go, okay, well, let's trial it. Not doing that for 3 months because we know that it does work. But if we, you know, it's either if we can't make it better, sack it off, see what happens, see what the feedback is like on a day-to-day basis, see what the action is like, tally it up,
make the call.
And no one missed the food, and now we don't have people sat over, you know, half-eaten bread for half an hour.
I love that, and it's the classic, like a thing my dad always used to say is, you know, the customer is king, but you are the monarchy. You know,
That's so good.
Oh no, Rob's walking straight to work with that.
But I just love that, like, you know, like I'm thinking we should start rounding this out.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I think, you know, obviously we came here to talk about product, and like, man, I knew that was going to blow my mind, but that was epic. Thank you. Like so good.
Thank you.
I just want to tie it back into the framework a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that people always talk about with product, and when I'm talking about product, I'm talking like, let's go really geeky product management, like read the lean startup type level of geekiness. And it's like, you know, there's that classic saying that, you know, you've used it a fair bit, the Henry Ford one around, if I had have asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. But he didn't say that from the perspective of like, oh, you should just never listen to people. It was like, no, like you need to know what their problem statements are, you know, not what their wants are, but what their needs are.
Yeah.
And then solve for it.
Yeah.
And I just love that you have got such an unreal blueprint for that, man. I don't think you're as conscious of
I don't
as
think
what, like, but it's clear as day to me when I hear you talk, and I'm just like, man, that's like, I would love to spend an hour getting into that brain and feel like a blueprint. It probably wouldn't be possible, but you embody that way of thinking so admirably. It's really amazing.
I think that I embody it because like it's a collection. Our businesses are a collection of our personalities,
Right.
not design.
Right.
I think it goes back to that. So, yeah.
I'm doing everything I can to not jump into a Premier League analogy.
Please.
Yeah, do it. Definitely do it.
I can't believe we got this far. You said Liverpool flags before, and I was like, no, don't go there. Leon's just going to dive straight in.
I'll try to make it quick, right?
There you go.
But, you know, you talk about Liverpool, and I'm an Arsenal fan, but what I think Liverpool and Arsenal have in common is a philosophy in the way that they manage the personalities in the club.
Totally.
You know, so Jurgen Klopp, right? Like, just what the hell, man? This dude just walks in, and it's not like, show me the data and what are the stats and where's the processes. Like, I remember, I think it was Matt Ryan, the Australian goalkeeper, who tells this story about he's playing his first game, right? Like he's you know, suiting up and getting ready, and before the game starts, like Jurgen Klopp just starts talking to him about like, oh, so how's your family? Like, what do you guys do for Christmas, you know, back home? And he's just asking him like what seems like these just stupid questions, to the point where he had to say to the coach like, hey, I think I should go warm up now. He just wants to get to know him so bad. Or like at Arsenal, the version of that, like you should watch All or Nothing, the Arsenal one, where you see why I love that is because it's not, I don't watch it for the sport, right? I'm watching it because it is an insane documentary about leadership. And you see the way Arteta came into that club with a culture first mentality. And the decisions that you make on the back of that ethos, if you don't look at it from that lens, you go, this is madness. This is stupidity. Like the one that comes to mind was when, I Aubameyang was like the captain of the club, kicking all the goals, turns up to training late, and so he benched him. And he refused to play him. Yeah. And through this point, right, where people are calling for his head, they're going, this guy's going to get sacked. Like, what a moron. But from that, until you look at it from that lens, that this is about culture and managing the personalities, that just seems like the dumbest decision, right? You're losing all your games. You cannot kick it. I don't think they scored a goal in like 6 games or something crazy. And the only guy that can kick goals, he refuses to play him. You go, that is just maniacal. Unless you look at it through that lens of like, hey, we're trying to build a culture here and manage the personalities, you know, to create a certain result. And now look at them, you know. So it puts the proof in the pudding. But I just love that you apply a similar lens to business.
We're nothing without the staff, right? We have run that business with just us 3, and it broke us. We've also come from working for some pretty awful people, some pretty poor environments. You know, some of them we chose to be in ourselves.
Sure.
But we want to be part of the change. Like, that is being so acutely aware of our mental health, the impact of that on our team, their mental health, being completely open.
Yeah.
And just being a force for change. You know, I think it starts, I don't think Caretakers would be the same if it was in a different country.
Right.
Like, I don't even think it'd be the same business if it was in a different state.
Yeah, right.
I think it is so inherently Melburnian now because of the people that are there. Like, the location, all right, does a lot for us. But I've been to loads of beautiful bars that are, you know, you get treated like crap too.
Yeah.
So I think it just all fits, but I think it starts with our staff.
No, look, what an awesome note to end on, because I think anyone listening to this that has a position of influence in their business, like, if there's only one takeaway, that should be it.
Totally.
Dude, this has been amazing, man. Thank you so much for coming in and spending some time with us.
Thank you.
It's been awesome to meet you and get to know you. And yeah, I can't wait to actually listen to this again.
All right, see you tomorrow.
Thanks for listening. Show notes, takeaways, and tools are available via our website, pax.melbourne. The PAX Hospitality Podcast is produced by PAX and Crate Creative. Support for this podcast comes from Square and Brunswick Design and Innovation. Our music is produced by Patricia Heath and Matthias Vestergren.